Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to the last part of the Meagher Valley base reviews. This is the last base that we have yet to get into because it was covered up by a enclave that was being stubborn about going away. So I just reset the map, because I figure we're going to end up going to a new one after this to review those bases. I might as well just do this. So, the base in question is the Country Church. It is a 500 influence, 4-man base. Cheapest one on the map, if I am not mistaken. Yes, it is. And it is alright, I guess. As far as location goes, it's towards the northern point of the map. It is still somewhat central. The top, I don't know, we'll say 2/3 of the map is relatively close. The very bottom, where the heaviest density is a little far away, but not too terrible. It is close to the river, which is over there, which will quickly get you down to the bottom. Also has the, what you call it? The silo over there, and the wind farm is not too terribly far, as you can see. So the location is alright. Not great, not bad. It's just kind of alright. So let's go ahead and move to the actual important base stuff while we still have some daylight. I already cleared it out, so y'all don't have to watch that happen. Like I said, 4-man, 500 influence, a quaint little church at the edge of town, limited room for expansion, but the spire offers great sight lines. It has 3 parking spots. It has removable front pews that will allow us to get material if we get rid of them. It has a community food bank as the storage facility, which adds to food and meds. Then it has, and a moderate amount of rest, so I'm assuming there's probably some beds too. It has a watch post and then clearable rear pews, so more materials. A gorgeous environment, which should boost morale ever so slightly. Let's claim it and see what we can do. Alright, it is all claimed. Everyone has moved in. Let's take a look at the damage. Okay, so 3 parking spots up on the side. Watch post, I'm assuming that's the bell tower. It has no special things. Does cost 1 ammo per day, which is apparently the trend on this one. If you get a watchtower, you pay for it, even if you didn't want it in the first place. Then it has the community food bank, 35 storage to all resources, and 20 to both food and meds. Also comes with a massive spice rack. It's plus 3 morale. So I guess using more than just some salt will get you some morale on here. And then your run-of-the-mill command center. Nothing to really report there. Let's go ahead and clear. Oh, as these sit, you get 1 bed per. Huh, that's useless. Go ahead and clear the pews out. Now this is a small base, so we have to remember it is small. The community food bank is quite useful if you're looking to hoard supplies as you're getting ready for a larger base if you're going that route. I usually don't, but if you're the kind of person that loves progression and moving from one base to the next base to the bigger base to the biggest base, it would allow you to stockpile enough supplies to get to that point. Or if you wanted to come straight from Clarington to here, then go to Whitney Field, it will allow you to pile up supplies to last a while. Now, it does come with 3 small slots that we can customize and 1 large 2 of the smalls are indoor and 1 is outdoor. So we will go ahead and put our infirmary on the inside, and actually I think I'm going to go fighting gym on the inside, with our workshop being outside. That is the holy trinity, if you will, of higher difficulties. Again, lower difficulties, you can change out the fighting gym. You could bring the workshop inside and put a still, put a farm, whatever you so choose outside. You can put whatever you so choose inside. Not a still or a farm, maybe hydroponics, yes. But, if I was going to swap that out with something, I'd move it outside and put a still, so that whilst I'm gathering all of these extra supplies, i.e. food, I can put that food to use and make more ethanol and beer, so that I can also get influence out of it. For the large slot, this would be a good opportunity to upgrade your vehicles real quick. So you could go ahead and get your vehicle upgraded, tear this down once you're done, and then put in either a lounge or a trade depot. If you're in this base, chances are you're going to need supplies. Trade depot would be great for it. But if you think that you can gather enough supplies on your own without having to call people in, then by all means, build a lounge. It will help with your morale penalties, which are so devastating in the lethal zone especially. I mean, I think you start out with minus 30 just for playing it, which is kind of annoying, but it is part of the game, makes it more difficult. As far as the super combos, I really wouldn't be worrying about that too much if this is the base you're in. I would be trying to survive. So I'm going to go with what I would probably do, and I would put a lounge in, just to try and help the morale penalties that I would be feeling right about now if I was playing this on a higher difficulty. Aside from that, there's no slot there, there's no slot there. Can't do anything with that. So that is actually kind of a pain. There is no slots in either of these, so you can't put in one of your mods. So without those mod slots, you're quite limited in adding extra stuff. Like, I typically would throw my my fireworks crafting table in my storage slot, just to put it somewhere where I can't put anything more useful. Watchtowers, I guess they typically don't have a slot, but I mean, come on. So we are very, very limited on the slots. So I'm just going to throw the free weights in here, because I would take the health anyways. Then when the lounge is done, I would throw a comfy chair, something like that in there, just to further boost the morale. Night has fallen, but have no fear. We can check the perimeter anyways. It's not that big a deal. Lounge, we will throw good old McComfy chair in there. And we shall walk the perimeter. So here are your 3 parking slots. They are right on the side. Put this where it's actually supposed to go. There we go. And for fortification, they cannot climb these walls, I don't believe. Nope. They can't climb over the pointy. Nope. So you've got 2 doors on front. 1 door on the right hand side. Oh, there we go. It looks like they can climb over the back. So that's the first spot we've got, other than the doors, is they can climb the back. and then you have your door on the side. So as far as fortification goes and zombies being able to get in, it looks like you'd be able to funnel them pretty well. The problem with this base is the outdoor section is not particularly large. So what tends to happen is you tend to have to fight inside, which doesn't sound terrible in theory, but on Lethal or Nightmare, you start getting those big waves of sieges. It can get a little claustrophobic in here with zombies jumping in all of these windows, and the AI for your other survivors can wig out something fierce in these close quarters, especially if, say, a feral shows up. That feral will beat up on your characters, and they will not take prisoners. I've seen people die in this base and the corner office both because ferals got in and the AI derped out and just couldn't deal with it. But, I mean, the best way to defend the base is to not be there. So, just hoof it, get away. Try not to deal with sieges if you have to deal with a siege. Be very careful, watch your doors closely, and try not to let your survivors get owned. Watch their backs once you make it inside. Now up top, this is where the sniper tower is. If I was going to try and defend this base, this is where I would be, is up on the roof. That way you can try and take out problems before they get in, or at least minimize the problems before they get in. That's the only really good advice I have for defending it. Now for the layout, we just saw the top. There's bathrooms here, but I don't know why it won't let us use them. It would be cool if they had at least given a latrine. I mean, come on, there's toilets. I think this is the second time on this map we found toilets that we can't use in the base. Then in here is your storage. Where's that spice rack at? I guess that's the spice rack? Oh. That's plates. It's like some crappy Coca-Cola. Some canned beans. I don't see a spice rack. Whatever. It's just semantics. And then here is your command center. Then in here is your other two small slots where you cleared out the pews with just some little rooms just for show, I guess. I mean, I guess you could come up here and give the zombies a sermon as they attack your base, and maybe you'd be halfway okay. But, my hopes aren't high. Here is your third small facility right outside the door, and here is your large facility. There's not much to this base. Not going to be a particularly long review. We're just going to pretty much go over the gist of what I would do to lay it out, and then maybe some pros and cons of it. So I would go with a lounge for the large slot, simply to try and correct some of the morale issues that you would have in a higher difficulty. Then I would go infirmary, fighting gym, and workshop. The infirmary, for obvious reasons, need to heal people, need to craft cures. Workshop, obvious reasons, you're going to have to repair stuff, you're going to have to tear stuff down to get parts, you're going to have to make pipe bombs or fuel bombs or whatever suits your fancy. Crossbow bolts, tool kits. By the time you're here, you have a vehicle. You need to keep it repaired. It is your most important asset in the game. So go ahead and get your workshop and make your toolkits. Then the fighting gym. Now, not everybody likes to go with the fighting gym. I do. You get that plus 20 health for having it, and then if you find those free weights, it's another plus 10. Plus 30 health doesn't sound like a lot, but it really, really is. I mean, look, he gets health. Let's see. What is that? That's combat. So plus 28 and plus 20. So 48. So he'd be at 140, 138, or 135. He would be at 135 without even being maxed up. 100 being around base, I do believe. Some get a little bit higher. He probably does. I can't remember. But either way, that is quite a boost, especially in the high difficulties. When you get beat up very, very quickly, I was kind of hoping that they would give us a siege while I'm standing here talking and wandering around in circles. Pros of the base, it is a neat little base, I guess. I mean, it's pretty cool to set up shop in a church. That would probably be a lot of people's first thought if there was a zombie apocalypse. You know, let's get all the people together at the church and set up base and, you know, try and wait it out that way. So that's kind of a neat thought. It is cheap. It's only 500 influence. It only takes 4 people, so you only have to recruit 1 person, which isn't terribly bad. It does have a fully upgraded massive storage, so you can stockpile. It won't take a lot of materials to build it up because it's so small. It will give you access to a singular large facility, which can upgrade your vehicles. It can help your morale, or you can use it for a trade depot to start getting even more supplies. The watchtower doesn't really do anything for me, and the command center is a command center. I personally would not deal with this because it is too small to really build up to much more power than you would have had at Clarington. Clarington has a lot of items that give you extra morale right out of the gate. You will have to spend some more materials upgrading, like your storage and such, but it's well worth it in the long run because you're going to need those materials anyways to build your own stuff. The only thing it lacks is a large facility, but you can live without it. I mean, let's be honest. You can live without it. You will be fine without it. So rather than going here, I would just go straight to one of these 5-man bases. I mean, it's another 500 influence in person. That's fine. I can live with that. But, I mean, that you can get so much more out of them. And as I discussed, if you go to Camp Kellenquaw right out of the gate, if it's uncovered, like it is right now, which I have seen happen in Lethal and Nightmare, it just be completely uncovered, then why wouldn't you? You could just move into this base and then not have to move again. Like, it would be that simple. You could go straight from Clarington to here and beat the game, and done. Cut. Scene. Finished. Finito. No more time to fiddle around with it. Or you could simply go to Meagher or the police station, whichever one is easier to attain, and then either go from there to Camp Kellenquaw or Whitney Field. If you're doing a long playthrough, Whitney Field will always be your end goal. It is so overpowered that you will run out of stuff to truly build in it that make any sense. 3 large slots is a ton. You can do anything you please in that base. Anything. You can do any combo any way you want. It is fantastic. It is the winner. Now, the second place base, I would give it to probably Camp Kellenquaw, just because it's a 5-man 1000 and it works like an in-game base. All you're lacking is a single outdoor large slot, but you can live without it, because as I said, you can do anything at Whitney Field, so why not go to Camp Kellenquaw? You can almost do anything for a fraction of the price. Ranking behind it would be Squalones, just because it comes with so much useful stuff. You've got 2 different stills. You've got your water taken care of, which you also have taken care of, I do believe, at Camp Kellenquaw. And then you've got keg cooperage, help you build. whilst you move into it, when you're done with it, you tear it down. You have enough materials to build anything you want in that slot. I mean, it's that simple. Ranking behind Squalones, I would. It is more a dependence of play style on that one. I would go to Mazzara just because it has more of what I would want to use. That grain silo storage where I like to run with a still and make money with beer. It allows me to stockpile food so that I can do that. I love it. It's very central. I also love that. I can get everywhere I want to at about the same amount of time. The rural police station on high difficulties, I don't use ammo. I just don't shoot bullets. I either use a crossbow or a pyro launcher. That's pretty much it. Guns make too much noise in the lethal zone. It's pointless. You're just going to get rampaged by zombies more times than not. You can come out ahead. I've seen people come out ahead before anyone jumps in the comments and says, "Oh, I've done it before." Well, yeah, you have, but it costs a lot of resources to do silly things like that. And when you're in lethal zone, you kind of want to save your resources a little bit and play smart. And then ranking behind those two, I'll give that just a draw. For my personal preference, I would rank this 4th and that 5th, but for anyone else, it could be flipped. I mean, it is completely up to your play style. Right behind those is the church, simply because it's just small. It's too small. There's not a whole lot to do with it. If you're desperate and it's uncovered, you can move into it. If this is uncovered and both of these or all the other bases are covered up, you can move into it. It's a starter point. But from here, I wouldn't even be looking at any of these bases. I would either be going down to Camp Kellenquah or Whitney Field. I would be trying to get a massive power-up after moving into here. And then ranked last, not surprising, is the Clarington House. It doesn't have a large slot. It's not last by a lot, though. I honestly prefer Clarington House over the church, just because it has almost it's weird to say, but it almost has more. All you're missing is a large slot, but you've got plenty of beds. You've got extra morale built right into it. It's not super centrally located, but the location it's in is by a ton of loot. Those starter areas tend to have a lot of loot, so it's a good place to be. It is a very good place to start out and build your strength to get into one of those larger bases and actually have a chance of running the gauntlet to the very end. But in summation, Whitney Field, Camp Kellenquah, Squalones, and then either Mazzara or the police station, and then the church, followed very closely by Clarington. Some might prefer Clarington more than the church. I never go to the church. Just saying it. I never go there. This is like the second time I think I've ever gone to the church. So, and that's because I have to for this video. But yeah, that is how I feel about the bases of Meagher Valley. It is my favorite map. It is extremely fun to play, extremely easy to get around, and very, very easy to learn. It is where I usually have people start to play this game. My uncle got into it. I sent him straight to Meagher Valley to learn because it is a basic kind of map. It has fairly good progression, and I just enjoy it. So I hope everybody's enjoyed this video. If you have, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, if you differ in opinion on my rankings, anything like that, or if you have anything to add to pros or cons for some of these that I didn't touch on, leave that comment down below. Let me know how you feel about this series. If it is good, if it is not good, I do not care. Either way, just let me know. And I appreciate all of you for your time. I'm the ADHD Gamer, and I will see you on the next map.